Page 31. That's where I found it. 47 pages of pharmaceutical research and actuarial modeling, and terms I'd never heard of. And then on page 31, one entry I understood perfectly. Genetic Profile Subset 7, ATHA 2029, licensed to Meridian Insurance Consortium, the 14th of March 2035. Application: Familial Risk Projection for Life Insurance Underwriting. I read it 3 times. Then I went to find my daughter's rejection letter from last year, the one she told me not to worry about. The dates matched. My name is Thomas Ashworth. I'm a plumber in Sheffield, have been for 31 years. 31 years of other people's pipes, other people's problems. I thought I understood how things worked. You put in the hours. You do the job right. You plan for the future as best you can. I've been selling my blood and my spit and my history to Lifebank since 2030. 6 years of samples. 6 years of 40 quid here, 60 quid there, deposited into an account I never told anyone about. Not my ex-wife, not my mates, not Emma. I thought I was just padding my pension, building a little cushion so I wouldn't have to ask anyone for help when the knees finally gave out. Then the Provenance Act came in. They announced it like it was a victory. Transparency, accountability. For the first time, you could see exactly where your biological data went after you signed it over. Every sale, every license, every algorithm that touched your genetic code. I requested my report on the 4th of February, mostly out of curiosity. Took them 6 weeks to compile it. I didn't understand most of it. Behavioral risk indexing, predictive health modeling, consortium data pools. But I understood page 31. I understood it the way you understand a bill you can't pay. The numbers are clear. The debt is real, and there's nothing you can do about it now. Emma applied for life insurance in April of last year. She was 32, healthy, no pre-existing conditions, no warning signs, nothing in her medical history that should have raised a flag. She wanted the policy before she and Daniel started trying for a baby. Just in case, she said. Responsible. That's my daughter. Always thinking 3 steps ahead. She was denied. High familial risk, the letter said. Elevated probability of cardiovascular complications. She showed me the letter over Sunday dinner. Casual, like it was just paperwork. A mistake, she said. I'll appeal. And I believed her because I wanted to. Because believing her was easier than asking questions. I spent 3 days trying to understand the provenance report. Called Lifebank's transparency hotline twice. Sat on hold for 90 minutes the first time, listening to a recorded voice tell me how much they valued my partnership. The second time, a woman named Sarah explained it to me like I was a child. Your genetic markers, they don't just stay with you, Mr. Ashworth. They used to build profiles. Family profiles, risk clusters. The algorithm doesn't need your daughter's DNA, it already has yours. I asked her what that meant, really meant. It means if you have a genetic predisposition to something, anything, and your daughter applies for insurance with the same consortium, they can project her risk from your data. They don't need her blood, they've got yours. I asked if I could undo it. Revoke consent, take it back. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Consent isn't retroactive, Mr. Ashworth. The data was already in their models. It had already made decisions." I sat in my van for an hour after that call, parked outside a job I never went into. Mrs. Patterson's bathroom, leaking shower valve, simple fix. I sat there watching the rain on the windscreen, and I kept thinking about Emma's face when she told me about the rejection, how quickly she changed the subject, how she made Emmy feel better about it, how she asked about the football like nothing had happened. I drove to her flat that evening, sat in the car park for 20 minutes trying to work out what to say. The engine running, the heater on, my hands on the wheel like I was still driving somewhere. How do you tell your daughter that you're the reason she can't protect her future family? That every sample you sold, every 40 quid you pocketed for a vial of blood, was a piece of her you were giving away without asking? I decided I'd just tell her the truth, that I'd been selling data, that I hadn't known, that I was sorry. But when she opened the door, she didn't look surprised. She looked tired. The way you look when you've been carrying something heavy for a long time, and someone's finally noticed. She already knew. She'd received her own provenance report in January. 3 months before mine arrived. She'd traced the denial back to my genetic profile before I even knew the act existed. She'd done the maths, she'd made the calls. She'd carried it alone. "Dad," she said, "I didn't want you to find out like this." We stood in her doorway for a long moment, the hallway light buzzing, a neighbor's television through the wall. I couldn't find the words. I'd rehearsed them the whole drive over, and now they were gone. I asked her why she hadn't told me, why she'd let me go on thinking it was just bad luck, just bureaucracy, just one of those things that happens. "Because you would have blamed yourself," she said, "and you'd have stopped selling. And I know why you're doing it, Dad. I know the pension isn't enough. I know you're scared of being a burden. I know you've been trying to save something for later." The way she said later, like it was a place, like it was somewhere I was going and she couldn't follow. We sat at her kitchen table for a long time. She made tea. Neither of us drank it. The mugs just sat there, going cold, while we looked at each other across the same table where I'd helped her with her homework 20 years ago, where I'd told her about the divorce, where she told me she was getting married. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to promise I'd fix it. But there was nothing to fix. The data was out there. It had already done what it was going to do. It had already decided things about her future that neither of us could appeal. The only thing left was the knowing. I thought about all the samples I'd given, the appointments I'd kept, the little ritual of it: sleeve rolled up, vial filled, form signed, money deposited. I'd felt clever, resourceful, like I was beating the system, taking something that was mine and turning it into something useful. I never asked where it went. I never thought to ask. It was just data, numbers, nothing real. She walked me to the door around 9, hugged me longer than usual, her arms tight around my back, her face pressed into my shoulder the way she used to do when she was small. I could feel her breathing, steady, patient, like she was waiting for something. I was halfway down the corridor when she called after me. "Dad?" I stopped, didn't turn around. "I've been selling too, since last summer, to Life Bank." She paused. "For you? For later? Just in case." I stood there in the corridor with my hand on the stair rail, the fluorescent light flickering above me, someone's dog barking 2 floors down, and I understood finally what we had become: 2 people trying to save each other, using the same system, feeding the same machine, never talking about it, never asking permission, just selling pieces of ourselves into a future we couldn't see. She'd started selling the month after her insurance was denied. The same marketplace, the same 40 quid vials, the same account she never told anyone about. She was building a fund for my care, for the years when I couldn't work anymore, when the body finally gave out, when I'd need someone to look after me. She was doing exactly what I was doing, for exactly the same reason, and neither of us had said a word. We never talked about what we were selling. We were too busy trying to save each other.